My sister especially, she posted also on Instagram, and she's also a single parent, so she would love to read it herself. I am open to, of course, the idea of maybe finding the right life partner. That is something everybody's open to, and I don't think they probably must have thought that, okay, because he does certain kind of movies, we don't think he would do something so different. I think I have been my own biggest support system. I think in our lives we can get moral support from our family and we can get that external validation, but the real internal validation comes from you. You have to be your biggest support, and I think I have been my own biggest support for sure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pinkula. Today, I have someone with me who is known for breaking his stereotype and myth when it comes to parenting. Joining me in a conversation is Tushar Kapoor. Hi, Tushar. Welcome to Pinkula.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm good.
Very congratulations on your new book launch, Bachelor Dad.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So I want to start off by asking you that, you said that you have penned down your most honest feelings in the book. And, before the release and now that it's in everyone's hand, I want to know, did you feel vulnerable or liberated or at risk when you were actually being so honest with your feelings for people to know and read it?
I was enjoying the process. Initially, I didn't know whether I'd be able to write it very well, because I'm writing this book I wrote this book for the first time. I wrote any book for the first time, but gradually I started feeling very, very thrilled about the process, because I got better and better as I wrote more and more. And as I used to sit down to write every night, initially I'd find it very difficult to get into it. But once I got into it, things would just flow, and that made me feel very, very de-stressed, very entertained also, and of course a bit liberated, because I was able to do justice to my own life experiences through my own writing, first person, and that was a very, very satisfying feeling.
What inspired you to actually write this book?
I would say that there was one particular thing that inspired me. It's just that my life has been a bit different as far as being a single parent is concerned, and as I began experiencing it more and more, I realized that this is something that others would want to know about. I could share this with others through a book, but it was only a thought, and gradually that thought got more evolved. And as I did so many things for my son, myself being a hands-on parent, I realized that over a period of time, I would have a bank of experiences that others would like to have a peep into. And through a book, maybe I would be able to do justice to sharing an honest picture about my life experiences as a parent.
And what was your reaction the first time, you completed your book, and how did your parents and sister react to this entire theme?
I told them at the very end when I had finished it, because I didn't want to tell anybody till I finished this process, because I didn't know I would be able to even do it completely well.
So I've already do that often, like you tell people right after.
Yeah, I'm like that. I'm a little like that. I don't like to share things initially, because I like to get done with all the homework and then share it with the world. So that's what I did with my family also. When I was going to announce the pre-order link, that's when I told them, and they were pleasantly surprised and they were very happy. They were very excited. My mom has already pre-ordered a number of copies for her friends, so they were very supportive. Yeah, and my sister especially, she posted also on Instagram, and she's also a single parent, so she would love to read it herself. Though I've kept it very, very first person, very, very casual, very informative, but not preachy. I've written it from my point of view, and anyone who reads it can decide whether they want to take away something from it or not, but that's their prerogative. I'm not forcing any views on anybody, so it's just about a journey.
I want to know this one thing. As humans, we end up, seeking a lot of acceptance for whatever we do, especially the society that we live in. And when we see some XYZ person do something, we get that validation कि हाँ चलो उसने किया है तो हम भी कर सकते हैं something. But when you took this step of actually being a single dad, there was no one who actually did it. You set this trend. Where was your point of validation? Who gave you that validation that what you're doing is right?
So I didn't really have a point of validation that, okay, there's somebody in the industry who has done it, in the film industry, or that this is something that's very common, or rather not so uncommon. I had to get my validation myself from within, and that is probably always going to be the case. Even if you're going to get married, we all feel nervous, don't we? We feel nervous when you think about marriage, or we think about starting a family, or going to for a girl going to somebody else's house, or for a guy to have a new member come into the family with his parents already there. I think it's challenging for everybody. So for me also, it was challenging in that sense because it was something new that I was doing. More so because it was very new to society. But after a point, I went with my own gut feeling, my own instincts, and the knowledge and the validation that I think it's the right thing to do, and I went.
That's amazing. It's brave. It's a very super brave step. Also, now that Laksh has grown up and he has a better understanding of the surroundings and things around him, I'd seen one of your interviews where you spoke about, sometimes friends can be an influence and probably ask about the mother or something. So has he ever come to you and asked you, and how do you deal with such situations? Because they can be fragile.
Well, I've always been very honest with him, and I read books to him about families that are all kinds. And today's world is really about all kinds of families. Even in India, you have parents that are separated, or you have parents living in different cities, or maybe a parent has lost his or her spouse, or it's about sometimes grandparents bring up children, sometimes it's like single parenting like me. So there are all kinds of families, and there's no one stereotypical normal way anymore, at least. So I read books to him so that even if those questions come, he's never really confused, and he has never really expressed any doubt or any kind of any kind of inadequacy of any kind, because he's always believed that he's the most important human being for me in my life, and he knows that I give him unconditional love, and he's very aware that his family is as normal as any normal family can be. So with that knowledge and that security, I think even if the questions arise in the future, I think we will be able to work our way around it with honesty and with the sense of clarity.
Did you ever consider, or are you considering ever getting married, or probably not for Laksh, but your personal life, like if you fall in love, maybe you're still open to that, getting married?
I am open to, of course, the idea of maybe finding the right life partner. That is something everybody's open to, but it's not that I'm feeling incomplete right now, or I'm really looking to tie the knot or find the right real life partner, because I feel my life is complete right now and I did the right thing. But yes, never say never. Of course, you never know where destiny might take me or what destiny has in store for me. But as of now, I feel that my family is complete for sure.
And you've completed 20 years in the industry, doing some amazing films, serving the audience with some amazing drama. You did films like Golmaal, Mastizade, Kya Cool Hai Hum. You also said, you've mentioned this before, that people didn't really expect it out of you when you said that you're going to try being a single dad. So has that also changed people's perception regarding you now that they've seen how your journey has been?
I don't really know what people's perceptions are, and I think if you go by what the people we move around with, especially in the film line, I think that doesn't really represent what the general public really thinks about you. But the families that I meet at airports or at events, or the normal Indian Janta, they were very supportive from the time Laksh came into my family, and they're happy that I spent so much time with him. And I don't think they probably must have thought that, okay, because he does certain kind of movies, we don't think he would do something so different. And I think the normal audience is very innocent. They accept you for what you are, and they don't really have so many preconceived notions. They don't categorize you. They just adapted to it and accepted it like they should for any person. So I respect that, and great to have so much positivity and such a warm welcome from the Indian audience, especially for this unconventional step that I took.
Definitely. Kudos to you for that. I have last few questions, which are like rapid questions, and I just expect you to say it like super quick. Yeah. So, what do you think is the best part about being a bachelor dad?
Being busy.
What do you think is the least favorite part of being a bachelor dad?
I don't know too much about nutrition.
Okay. Any message that emotionally touched you a lot?
I remember my sister told me just after Laksh was born that you're going to be showing the way to many other people. He said that you have the guts to do this, and hopefully you will show the way to many other people.
And if you could describe Lakshan and Ravi's relationship in one word, how would you describe it as?
Lakshan Ravi, it's like Bade Miyan Chote Miyan.
Okay. And who has been your biggest support system throughout?
I think I have been my own biggest support system. I think in our lives, we can get moral support from our family and we can get that external validation, but the real internal validation comes from you. You have to be your biggest support. And I think I have been my own biggest support for sure.
At this very point of Laksh's life, what does he aspire to be? Has he ever told you, I want to be this, buddy, okay?
He used to be astronaut, but now he says, then he became police officer. And now he says he wants to be, I think it's gone back to astronaut.
Okay. Has he ever told you about acting?
No, he's not very, he hears Bollywood songs because they have a module in school also for dance where they kind of show you a Bollywood song and you learn Bollywood dance also. Yeah. But that's about the only exposure he has to Bollywood. So he doesn't understand what I do really well as of now.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for doing this and inspiring so many people out there. We hope to meet really, really soon.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.